Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show called CHOPZ. And for those of you that might not be aware, CHOPZ, not a cooking show, but chops as in playing ability and, music dexterity and things like that. So look it up. But anyway, we're here to talk about all things music and the lifestyle of being a performer. And it all runs the range of playing locally in bars to playing large venues across the country or the world. So this next artist, also longtime friend I've known for quite some time, his music resume varies from touring in national acts to being a recording artist in his own right. So would you please welcome guitarist, recording artist, Duffy King. Welcome, Duffy. And
hi.
Thanks for joining today.
Awesome, Kat. Very nice, very nice.
All right, glad you can make it here. I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah, it has been for sure.
So would you tell the audience in your words what you do, who you are, and what you do musically?
Well, I'm I call it genre fluid.
Okay, there you go. Where do you begin? I know, right? Yeah.
And that comes from all the way down when I was a kid.
Okay.
And my mother was a professional singer, and she could go toe-to-toe with Barbra Streisand, Judy Garland. She was that good.
Wow.
And she was offered a recording contract before I was born, but she had my two older brothers who were also musicians and my sister. And they were young, and the recording label, she had a local regional kind of hit in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago.
And they wanted her to go on tour and that. She goes, I have 3 little kids, I can't go on tour. So she passed it up. But she continued singing in nightclubs. Community theaters, plays and stuff all her life and that. But she would take me, sometimes my brothers and sisters who weren't available to babysit me for her gigs. She'd take me and stick me in the dressing room. I was a little kid, and there'd be a couch there. She'd go, lay down, go to sleep. I'd peek out the door, of course, and watch her. So, I mean, really, literally. Then both my brothers, through the British invasion era, had a band that was doing quite well. And so
what do they play?
Both guitarists. My brother Nick played bass, and so they were and that was right when the Vietnam War was raging, and so they were drafted, and because they had a lot of action going before they went in the service, and then they got back, regrouped. Of course, music had kind of changed a bit, and they kind of, and for them that was actually a good thing. They just got into different things, but they ended up being one of the first white bands signed to Motown Records.
And what was that band?
The band was called Magic.
Really?
And they started influencing rhythm and blues, rock, and the guitar player who was my mentor as a youngster, he was into all kinds of things, and he was a session player in Miami.
Okay.
And he ended up playing with the Bee Gees, Andy Gibb, Joe Walsh, Eric Clapton, and out of Criteria Studios in Miami. And but he was their guitar player. Somehow he was in Chicago and they were looking for whatever, and he ended up coming over, and they worked together for quite a few years, made some noise. Stevie Wonder played on their album.
Really? We were just talking about Stevie in the last segment. But you're still in Chicago, but okay.
We were in Detroit.
Oh, at this point you're in Detroit.
Yeah, my brothers put an ad out, and he was in Chicago. The guitar player was in Chicago, and they came from Chicago, but he was really from Miami. But he happened, his brother married Ann Jillian, the actress.
Really?
And, at any rate, he was in Chicago, but he ended up in Detroit. But ultimately, they all ended up in Florida anyway. But the Stevie Wonder played. I mean, that's where I was. Long story, try to cut it a bit. I was infused with nothing but music from a little kid, and had the likes.
So you're young at this point, but your older brothers are in this band.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, this is what I was brought up around: Stevie Wonder playing on my older brother's record. When I was in school, I took it to school. Hey, look, my Stevie Wonder's on my brother's record. Stuff like that. So that's what I that's what I was brought up around.
Okay. So is that what made you pick up the guitar?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
absolutely.
That but as far as direct guitar influences, were there any guitarists that you were listening to at the time?
Oh, yes, and so many. Once again, as I say, I was blessed to have Joey Mercia, that guitar player I was just talking about, such an influence on me because he even was into country. In fact, on their album, they had kind of a country song, and they were kind of mixing genres, you know. And they got me heavy into rhythm and blues and funk, anything from Wilson Pickett to James Brown.
Right.
And all of a sudden that came in, and I was listening to Santana and Chicago, Terry Kath from Chicago. So those were some of my real early influences that I just dove deep in on. And then of course, B.B. King, Jeff Beck.
Okay.
That was my early stuff. Then I ventured into prog rock. Yes. Steve Howe, stuff like that. And then I moved into fusion jazz. Chick Corea's Return to Forever, Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin.
Right.
And then Steely Dan became my favoriteest of all time band, Larry Carlton, all those guys. So you just take all that stuff and mix it together, and somehow I, pull out, little bits and pieces and try to make it my own or
and
whatever.
It comes into your playing somewhere along the line.
But it's also good as a session player. I've done so many sessions. I mean, you and your listeners, we're on TV. I just did a podcast, so that was
my listeners, I like the sound of that, okay?
Have heard me play on more things than they would even know because I did a lot of commercials out of Detroit. Chevy, Ford,
really?
All the automotive ads that were really prevalent for a long time. So I was playing on all those, but it would be cool that they would say, hey, we need something like, whatever. They would name an artist.
Yeah.
And the guitar player would have been someone that, possibly, we needed to sound something like this. And I was familiar enough with that player or that technique. I could do it. Then they turn around and say, okay, we're going to do a country version now. We're kind of Texas country. I do that, and because I was into the Allman Brothers when I was a kid, and I loved Dwayne Allman, I played slide, learned slide very well, and not always in my, what I play, but they say, hey, can you do slide over there? Yeah, pull out the slide. Oh, it's, now we're going to do something. We need some kind of jazz, jazz lyrics. Can I get my jazz box out and do that? And so all these amalgamations of, genres has helped me greatly in far as studio works and gigs.
So that's not an easy thing to get into as far as the commercial work. Was there any one particular person, or they just saw you on a gig? And
somebody saw me on a gig. And now there are a couple times. A couple of my sessions were that through, and then of course networking around, the city and just
what were
getting.
Some of the studios around that did that? Was it
Yes In,
Rose,
RPM.
Oh, okay.
Ron Rose, that's right. Ron Rose, that's right.
There's all these places that I was calling up, hey, never got in the door, but you got in the door. Good for you. That's great.
Yeah, so that's kind of, as far as genres, I'm, I've done everything literally on recordings, live, and it's good. I like it actually. I like being able to play a lot of different things. Yeah,
and I think it really helps. I used to have this attitude, this is what I do, but it all feeds together. All the different genres do, and being versatile only helps. So on a local level, you're playing all around town, but then you hook up with a national group and I want to ask you, talk about this, because how do you do this? Duffy plays with John Lodge of the Moody Blues, and you guys tour all over the country and
the world,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us maybe how that all.
Well, that particular gig came to being from my best friend since we were 16 years old, from Petoskey, Michigan, Mr. Alan Hewitt.
Oh, Alan Hewitt. Okay. Right.
Yes. Okay. He was in a band. I was in a band, and we were competing bands, but we would play high school dances.
Okay.
Little mini Woodstocks that, whatever, people would get all the bands together in a field up north. And, put on these little festivals, and we met each other. And his band was kind of proggy.
Okay.
They were great. In my band, we did kind of a mix of rock and stuff, anything from Allman Brothers to some Yes and stuff like that. And we just became buddies. And he went to Berklee School of Music, and I went on to Central Michigan. And then kind of after our college stuff, I was playing around Detroit in a top 40 funk band that I had moved, to Detroit and joined. And
what band was that?
Band was called Struttin', I believe, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I remember correctly.
I know.
That was a long
so
time
many
ago.
bands. I go through the same thing. What was it?
But that band it was very good. They were actually based out of Ann Arbor.
Oh, okay.
But they played all the Coral Gables and
Is he talking 70s-ish or later?
78, I think.
Oh, okay. I wasn't living around here, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 78, 79 in that area. And Alan was up north, I had heard, with the band. Actually, Alan was a drummer originally.
Oh, okay.
But when he went to Berklee, of course, as a percussion major, you have to learn how to play piano. That's a requirement.
Wow.
For a percussion degree, you have to, because a piano is technically a percussion instrument.
Question, because I've always wanted to go to Berklee School of Music. Do you have to know how to sight read?
No.
Darn it.
You don't. No.
I should have gone. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
You don't. I mean, they have like some testing things, but you don't have to really sight read. Wow. And even now, it's even looser than it was.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I thought, I just wrote it off thinking, I can't sight read.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. So Alan Hewitt, go ahead.
So Alan had was just hanging around at Petoskey after college, and I'd heard he was back. We needed a drummer. I called him up, and he came down. And then from then on, we were just like, we put numerous bands together, original bands, touring all over the country and recording. And we had some production deals with Elektra. We had one with Elektra Records that just never got off the ground. At any rate, but through our entire lives, we've kept in touch with each other, done various things, and then we did Alan Hewitt and One Nation.
Okay, I kind of remember when that was going on.
Yeah, and so we put this band together, and that record, that was with Sony.
Okay.
Well, both of them were on Sony. So right around the time we did our first album, the Moody Blues started fracturing.
Okay.
And Justin wanted to do his thing, John did whatever. And Alan was the keyboard player in the Moody Blues.
Right, okay.
And then so he asked me if I wanted to come on board with the John Lodge thing.
You're like,
so
I'll think about it.
Yeah, so that's how that particular gig happened.
Yeah.
So, and we're still doing that One Nation thing. We're getting ready to fire up some more recording and stuff like that. We're continuing on, but we're, just got off tour. First week of August, played around mostly in northern Michigan, and then now we're getting ready to go back on tour in November. Coming to Royal Oak Music Theater on November 19th.
There you go. So I have some footage of you guys at Seminole Casino when Larry and I were in Florida. Went to see you guys at Seminole Casino in Immokalee, Florida. So we'll showing that in a little while here. And but you are also a recording artist in your own right. And when I had my little online show, I was playing your stuff. But tell everybody about, some of the things
I've done, once again, genre fluid. I've done all kinds of stuff. But my last solo album, where I wrote all, composed everything, was called Acoustically Speaking. Obviously, all acoustic oriented. And lots of Latin jazz on it. And then a little bit of mix of fusion of, I guess you'd call, what they call modern acoustic guitar. And sometimes extreme acoustic guitar. It's labeled using loopers, stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I have a couple of tunes on there where I'm doing that. But a lot of it is Latin-based, which goes back to Santana. Kind of got me into now. Carlos, I loved his sound and his guitar playing.
Yeah.
But I was really taken with the Latin rhythms.
Right.
And it really did, and so then I started exploring other things, and then especially when I hit like Chick Corea, and his original Return to Forever with Flora Purim and Dorito and that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that was of course, then they got a little more electric in that. But I really then got into Latin and got into the Cuban jazz with CHOPZ and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So, oddly enough, we were living in Arizona at the time.
Oh, all right.
And my wife is a flamenco dancer.
Karen?
Yeah, Karen's a flamenco dancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now.
If you ever seen her dance, I mean, she was at one of your shows
Well,
on the
yeah.
dance floor. You can see, she'll put that stuff into any dance,
Yes.
but you can tell that
Okay, Karen,
it's
I
pro
wanna see
levels
that now.
type stuff, real
Now
deal
that I
stuff.
know. Okay.
At any rate, she was. In fact, one of my gigs,
Okay.
she was dancing up to some Santana that I was doing.
Right.
And the owner came, she got to know the owner, and the owner had a brain surgeon convention coming in that rented out the whole place.
You guys would be perfect. Okay, right.
And she said they wanted a flamenco show
Okay.
for the entertainment, for this dinner for the brain surgeon convention from all over the world, or maybe the country, I don't know, maybe all over the world.
All right.
But so she goes, yeah, and then she goes, can you play flamenco for me? I said, well, I mean, I love Paco de Lucia,
Okay.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know any per se, but I know, I'm well versed
Now
in
you're
the
up for
genre.
the challenge now, right?
So we went and saw a flamenco show in downtown Scottsdale.
Oh, okay.
And just so I could kind of immerse myself in it
Yeah.
a bit. And I went home that night and grabbed my guitar and sat on the couch and composed a song.
Okay.
And she goes, what is that? So I just wrote it. She goes, what do you mean? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I said, no. She goes, oh my God, it's perfect. So I continued composing a bunch of songs for this flamenco show.
Isn't that something?
So, now, I don't know, so I wouldn't have to learn a bunch, I guess. I don't know. So I wrote these songs, and and we did the show, it was great, and I started thinking, well, okay, I wrote these compositions,
Yeah.
I might as well make a record out of it. So then that was the basis of the record, and then I just
okay.
kind of went out from there, and, just kind
So
of
that's kind of like by accident, really.
It was
If you didn't
kind of
get
by
that
accident.
brain surgeon gig, then you'd be doing some other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of Arizona, now you go between Michigan and
Yes.
Arizona to play, which, by the way, I would think Arizona would have that influence in that music down there, like you say. So
that's kind of what, I kind
okay.
of soaked it in.
right.
Yeah.
So you still do that. You go
Yes.
between Michigan and Arizona.
Leaving mid-October.
Okay.
I've got gigs booked out there already.
Yeah, that's
And,
how you do it, right?
Yeah, and then on my YouTube channel, which
Okay.
easy Duffy King,
Okay.
and it's also linked off my website, duffyking.com,
All right.
is a video that I shot for a song off my last album, Samba del Sonoran,
All right. Mm-hmm.
and because we live in the Sonoran Desert, the high
Oh.
Sonoran Desert, and that's where the name came from.
Okay.
And we live at the base of Black Mountain.
Okay.
And I mean, we look right out our window, straight up,
Sonora, is that?
Sonora.
I'm trying to remember where that's south or.
It's north.
It-
North.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, the Sonoran Desert goes all through
Mm-hmm.
the Phoenix area, and we're in the high Sonoran Desert, which is up north of Scottsdale and that.
In relation to Flagstaff.
Oh, south of Flagstaff it's
South of
about
Flagstaff.
2 hours to Flagstaff, and
Oh,
hour and a
gotcha.
half to Sedona, south. Yeah,
Okay.
we're at the very north end of what would be metropolitan Phoenix, the greater
okay.
metropolitan Phoenix area.
Oh, okay.
It's like the last, the last village or whatever. It's a small town, but I mean, literally drive 5 minutes and you're in the Scottsdale border.
Okay.
You cross the Scottsdale border.
That sounds nice.
So it
especially
is.
in the wintertime.
So I envisioned myself going up this mountain playing this song, and I get going. It gets ripping at the end, and I'm shredding and all that. I go, I want to be at the top of the mountain with a drone going around me while I'm shredding.
Oh, there you go.
And a
Right.
buddy of mine out there happened. He went to Berkeley.
Okay.
But he ended up getting into because Berkeley now it's expanded out into electronic media and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he started getting interested in video, and
Okay.
so I contacted him. I gave him this idea. We talked about it, and we shot the video, and
Nice.
it turned out. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
That one, I'm not sure if I have.
Yeah, that one, it's spectacular. Literally.
I got it. I gotta
Watch
see
it in
that one.
4K if you can.
Okay.
It is spectacular.
And that's on YouTube, right?
On YouTube,
And the
yeah.
name of the song is again?
Samba del Sonoran.
Samba del Sonoran on YouTube, Duffy King.
Basically samba
Okay.
of the Sonoran Desert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So check that out, everybody.
And it's a couple years old. We put out a couple years ago, and it won 3 different International Film Festival awards for Best Music Video.
Okay. Is that something that maybe you could pull up on the guitar?
Woo!
Or you have another one in mind, maybe?
Yeah, that one might be.
Okay, never mind. Sorry about it.
I'd have to think about that. I might be able to pull out a little bit of it. I don't know.
Pick something else then.
It's pretty complicated.
Okay, so never mind.
But I didn't know.
We were. This is all.
I'd have had to at least run over it.
Yeah, this is all impromptu. So, but was there another song?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I was hoping to do one with you, but
well, name something.
Maybe you could even sing on it.
Name some tunes. That could happen. We'll put each other on the spot, okay?
So there's a little bit of Samba del Sonoran that.
Oh, there you go.
that was it.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, to play the whole song, I'd have to warm up on that one. But you could even sing. You'd probably know the harmonies to this.
Oh. If I could reach the stars, I'd pull one down for you. Good choice. Shine it on my heart so you can see the truth that this love I have inside is everything it seems. But for now I'd find it's only in my dreams I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. Around. Even for one day, I take you as my king. Yeah, I live in no other way. In the love of this kingdom we have made. Yeah, till then I'll be a fool, wishing for the day I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. Baby, if I could change the world. There you go. Nice. Change the world. it, love it, love it. All right. Well, okay, so another thing is that we're going to show at the end of this segment here is that you have a song called Say Uncle.
Yes.
So, and that's off your latest.
It's off the, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that'll be, we're going to show this at the end of the segment, Say Uncle. And that's got Roger Noonan on bass and Rob
Emanuel
okay.
on the drums.
On the drums. And
local heavy hitters.
That's right. That's love having Roger join me on the gig. I steal him every once in a while. I'll steal all my musicians all over there. But real quick, touch on a real quick subject. I promote myself, and I don't know. You've been a signed artist at still are, or at one point in time, but maybe do your own self promotion at this point right now.
I mean, even when like One Nation. We were signed with Sony, and they had a promotion department and everything, but still, we still had to,
Still have to do it.
I mean, I had been doing it for quite a while, and then when we had the recording deal and had a promotion department, I thought, oh man, I don't have to, but I could see too many things falling through the cracks, and I started doing it,
right.
Anyway.
And this is in the era of social media at this point, or
yeah, that's only a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
okay.
only, yeah.
So then to that, then what's your view? To me, Spotify is a double-edged sword on that.
Very double-edged sword.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I threaten I'm going to pull everything off it,
Yeah, right.
It is, and I do know a lot of people that are pulling their music off it for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Number one is the guy, the CEO is a multi-billionaire,
making all kinds of money, and we make shit. Oh,
and they're what they are, their payouts, their parameters of how they pay,
right,
how they rank. I mean, it's but it is what it is. Apple Music is.
You mean the algorithm part?
Correct.
As far as how it
exactly.
works? Okay.
Exactly.
It's the thing that I like about it as a consumer is that I'm hearing people that are. I have my music up on there, but I'm discovering other artists that are like my music that I never would have heard of.
Yes,
before.
absolutely.
But like you say, on the flip side, when you look at your statement.
Yeah, well, I laugh at it. I said, why do they even bother?
Yeah, it's like goodbye, a pack of M&Ms or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like
everyone go, you get a cup of coffees. No, I go to Starbucks. That's not even going to do that.
And that's right. And for a while there, I was getting little satellite radio action going on.
Yes.
And so I started to see, $50, okay. Yeah, that's better than Spotify.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things that, okay, you got as a signed artist, you can get a deal that's 90% them and 10% you.
That's right.
So I don't know which is worse, but
it is. No, I mean,
or which is better.
I even say a major label, whatever that even means anymore.
Right.
Because now they've come, like you said, they've come around to they'll get you high on the Spotify charts and Apple Music charts or whatever, that Billboard charts. But it's so funny because back in the day, they had this big thing about payola,
Right.
But it's essentially just legalized payola now. I mean, it is because you or I could get on the top charts. Billboard, I could buy our way on if we had enough money.
Yeah, it's about $300,000, something like that.
I mean,
for radio play.
Depending on what market you're in. A lot
college,
less. Yeah.
College. Well, those were the numbers that were presented to me years ago.
If you want to do it like on a say the smooth jazz. The jazz, much less. I know exactly.
Yeah, there's these other packages out now where you can get college radio.
Yeah,
and then
so it's kind of
they're playing me in Canada, out in Saskatoon.
My Samba del Sonoran made it to number 5 and sat there for quite a while in St. John's, Nova Scotia.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's how I got.
My numbers are big in
They love
Finland,
me in Nova
too.
Scotia.
Hey, wherever you can get it.
I would love to go play there.
We were just talking about Rodriguez, like
Yeah.
I would love to, come to find out. Wouldn't you love to find out that you're a major star somewhere?
Yeah.
Just put a whole tour around it. Well,
yeah, but you got to play. I mean, I guess you got to play the game. Just learn it the best you can, and you're a digital marketer. You're a digital creator because you're not going to hire most of this stuff out anymore because there's you just don't have enough back end to really as an independent.
Social media guru.
So now you're putting videos together. You're putting content of all kinds together, graphics, whatever, and then you got to put it out there. You got to pay the Facebook boost ads and all that kind of stuff.
Sponsored ads.
I mean, you are unto yourself.
And hence, that is the music business today. Well, thanks so much, Duffy, for joining today for some interesting talk. And everybody check out Duffy's music on YouTube and where else?
Spotify. Amazon.
The thing we just test, but go there.
Pandora. It's literally on all of them. It's on all of them. And of course, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I don't do Twitter anymore.
Do I?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Website?
DuffyKing.com.
DuffyKing.com. So with that, we'll say once again, thank you, Duffy. Hey, back again. I'm Kat, in case you don't know. So one more thing before we head on out of here. My last guest was Duffy King, guitarist. And so now we're going to play one of his songs, and it's called Say Uncle. So give it a watch. Say Uncle by Duffy King. And look for him up on YouTube. This next video you can find up on YouTube. Until then, I'm Kat, and we'll see you next time on CHOPZ.